Welcome to ClarityLoop. This video is about capture work, a simple habit that makes everything else in ClarityLoop easier. Better feedback, better one-on-ones, better goals, and better insights because you're not starting from scratch each time. We'll cover 4 things: the 2 ways context shows up in ClarityLoop, how notes work and where they appear while you're working, how screenshots become meaningful context, not just images, and how context powers AI drafting and insights. Let's start with the big picture. In ClarityLoop, context comes from 2 places. First, when your tools are connected, ClarityLoop can automatically bring in work context. That becomes reusable evidence, and it also helps the system understand collaboration patterns over time. Second, you can capture context yourself whenever you want. That's especially useful for moments that don't live neatly in one tool or when you want to add your own perspective. Now let's look at notes. Open Notes. Notes are a lightweight place to capture what you don't want to lose: a win, a decision, a tricky situation, a moment you might want to reference in a one-on-one later. A good note is usually just a short title and a few lines in plain language. Now here's what makes notes especially useful in ClarityLoop. Notes don't just live in the notes page. When you're doing other work like writing feedback, creating a feedback request, updating a goal, or adding something to a meeting agenda, you'll often see a context side panel with 2 tabs: Work and Notes. Work shows the automatically ingested context from connected tools. Notes shows the notes you've captured. So instead of hunting for something you wrote last week, your notes are already right there, available to attach in seconds. Now let's talk about screenshots. Screenshots are the catch-all context option. They're perfect when the best evidence is visual: a UI state, a chart, a customer message, or a snippet from a tool you can't integrate with. And in ClarityLoop, a screenshot isn't just an attachment. When you add a screenshot, ClarityLoop can understand it and help you capture the meaning by generating a clear title and a short description that explains what the screenshot is showing. You can keep it as is or tweak it in your own words. This is a big deal because it makes screenshots searchable and reusable later, and it also makes them much more useful for AI workflows, not just humans. Now let's connect this to AI drafting. When you use AI to draft feedback, or even when you ask ClarityLoop AI to help you write something, the quality of the draft depends heavily on the context you include. If you attach a work item, a note, or a screenshot with a good summary, AI has something concrete to work with. That means the draft is more specific, more accurate, and more likely to sound like it came from a real moment, not a generic template. Now the last piece, insights. Even if you never write a note, ClarityLoop can still generate insights because it's learning from the work patterns that are happening automatically, things like collaboration signals from connected tools, plus feedback and one-on-one activity. That's what powers growth signals and other insights: patterns over time grounded in real work and real interactions. And when you do add your own context, like a note or a screenshot, you're making those patterns easier to interpret because you're adding the why behind what happened. Now let's look at reuse, because this is where capture turns into leverage. Whenever you're looking at a piece of context, a link, a work item, a note, or a screenshot, you'll have options to use it in multiple places. For example, you can start a new piece of feedback with that context already attached, add it to an existing feedback or request, add it to a meeting agenda, or attach it as a goal comment. And again, you'll usually see the same Work and Notes side panel when you're attaching context, so your saved notes are always close by when you need them. Before we wrap up, one more thing: the browser extension. The browser extension is personal. Each person installs it for their own account. It's a fast way to capture notes and screenshots while you're already working, especially when you're jumping between tools. And if your workspace enables auto capture settings for the extension, it can also help automatically capture context from selected sources, which is especially helpful in environments where you can't connect integrations directly. Let's wrap up. Here's the simple workflow to remember. First, let connected tools bring in context automatically. That supports both reuse and insights. Second, capture your own context in small bites, a short note, a link, or a screenshot when a moment matters. Third, reuse what you captured where it counts, in feedback, in goals, and in one-on-ones. And when you use AI drafting, remember, good context is what makes the draft specific and genuinely useful. That's Capture Work in ClarityLoop. Thanks for watching.